Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Lane Hoffert. Registration for the city's fall program is officially open. Abby St. John has more on some of the new options for this year.
I'm very happy to be joined here today by Cindy Rakemowicz. She is the Programs and Events Manager for the City of Lloydminster. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Now, summer is unfortunately coming to an end and the fall season is right around the corner. However, with that comes fall programs that the city is offering, and the fall program guide and registration is now available for those who'd like to sign up. So can we first start talking about what kind of programs there are for people, for kids, for adults, that kind of sort of thing?
For sure. So yeah, our program registration did open on Tuesday. So people are able to register for a wide variety of programs that all begin anywhere from September till December. So we have lots of programs over at the Lloydminster Museum and Archive. We have some for kids and some for adults. Our adults, we got some new programs, so it's exciting. We've got some craft and wine nights. We've got stained glass, our typical pottery. We've got some themed Halloween, Thanksgiving type projects, soap making, and beeswax candles and wraps. But there's lots to see and do at the museum. We also have programs at the Lloydminster or the Service Sports Center. We've got community registration that's happening on September 4th. So you can come out to community registration and check out what other organizations are offering as well. You can register for a table there if you are an organization and come and offer programs. We've got some new programs at the Service Sports Center as well that are exciting. So we've got some badminton for adults badminton after schools for kids. We've got a Women in Motion program. We've got some junior and junior high school and volleyball, and we have some pickleball clinics happening there too. So, and then we've got on Friday nights, we have a new Sports Explorers class, and we've got a new writing class that we're offering too at the Service Sports Center. So you can check those out. And then over at Bud Miller and at the pool, we've got our regular swim classes. We've got some courses that the pool is offering for lifeguarding, first aid. And then we have our Friday fun camps that we offer on Fridays for preschoolers. So lots to see and do. You can find way more detail in the guide, and the guide was sent out to each household last week. So check your papers for that.
There seems to be a ton of different options, and not just the athletic side of things. There's also the artistic side of things as well at the museum. So there seems to be a ton of different programs for any age range. And it's great that there are a lot of new adult programs as well, because, you know, adults like to have their own little activities away from their kids and maybe even line up with their programs as well. So it's awesome that you have a wide range of options for people. Now, for these fall programs, how long do they last for? How long is the commitment for some of the programs?
So some of them could be a one night, some of them could be up to like once a week for 4 to 6 weeks. They really vary depending on what the opportunity is. So yeah, you would have to check out our guide. It is online or in person. And if you just went to lloydminster.ca/guides, you can find that detail of what they're offering. Also more information or where to register is lloydminster.ca/register, and they have all the information on the programs as well. So lots of opportunities, or you can just actually phone one of our facilities too, and we can help you through it.
Perfect. And that answers my question how people can register. But for those who want to come out to that community registration night at the Service Sports Center, when is that happening again? And what are the times for people to show up?
So it is September 4th from 4 till 8 p.m. Like I say, if you are an organization, want to pre-register to have a table there, you'll have to do that in the next couple of weeks. And then it's open to the general public from 4 till 8, and you'll see anything from basketball to Girl Guides. There's all kinds of opportunities to find out more information about what programs are out there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And there's a program for everybody. So thank you. And hopefully this fall, a lot of people can take part in these programs and have a nice fall season.
Let's look at your sports. Yesterday marked the end of the 2024 CPCA Finals. I have more with this year's champion, Logan Gorst. The CPCA Finals wrapped up yesterday after Logan Gorst won the 2024 championship. Gorst says winning was not a solo effort and he would have not won if it weren't for his supporting cast.
Oh, it feels awesome. I owe it to the horses and my family and barn crew. Honestly, I keep saying it, but like I'm not around all the time, and then they're training, they're taking care of the horses, they're feeding them. So I tip my hat to them. I'm not here if I don't have family and friends like this.
The atmosphere of the finals fuels chuck wagon drivers like Gorst to go out and give their best efforts. When it comes to having a passionate audience, Gorst says there are no crowds like the ones in Lloydminster.
Lloyd X is awesome. Jackie and the crew do everything that we ask. It's actually a really good relationship. Me and her get along really good, and look at the crowd. That tells you. Like I don't have to speak for it. They love the sport. The city loves the sport. I don't even have to speak to that. The fans love it.
The time spent out on the chuck wagon circuit is special for Gorst since he gets to spend lots of time with his family. Gorst says he's going to miss that quality time during the off season.
Now I got to go back and work a real job. That's the worst part. This is fun. I get to be with my family every day. Get to meet lots of good people. Now it's all in bales, all in oats. Going back to work. I'm working up in the oil field, so work a 2-in-1. Sucks being away from your family, but you got to pay the bills.
The 2024 championship is Gorst's second CPCA title, with his first coming in 2021. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News. The Vermilion Ag Society is hosting races coming up this September, but they are on some unusual machines. Our Thomas Wildman has more on the lawnmower and snowmobile grass drag events.
Today I'm joined by Heine Westergaard, the event organizer for the Vermilion River Lawnmower Racing, as well as the snowmobile grass drags, which is going to be taking place coming up this September. And so thank you so much for joining me today, Heine. And we'll start with, can you tell me a little bit about lawnmower racing and its start in Vermilion?
It's the thing that got us. We've been watching it on YouTube for quite a while, and there's been a couple other associations within Alberta that do the lawnmower racing. It's pretty strong when you get into northern Alberta. So you look up at the communities of Heights and into northern BC and Taylor, BC. You've got the guys that take and race up there, and they've got a pretty strong series of races. And then you've got Cherry Grove, which is coming up here next weekend on the 24th of August. So we've followed those guys for a while, and we thought, geez, this is something that's really interesting and would be a great fit for our association and on the grounds. We have the space to do it. And the other part too is that it's an inexpensive, fun thing to take and do. So, and it right from ages 3 and up is what we're kind of targeting. So we've done a few looks into other associations across Canada. So the guys out on the East Coast, they've got quite a bit of stuff out in PEI, and you get into Nova Scotia. And Ontario is really strong in lawnmower racing as well. So that's more the groups that we've looked at too. And we sort of follow those ones and try to take and see what they've been doing. And we've had some good communication with the Alberta Lawnmower Racing Association, with Chris, to kind of get us going the right direction for track design classes and how to take and set the event up. And we've followed, one thing we wanted to do is, and like I said, we get kids from ages 3 and up. So we have a Power Wheels class, which is we get these inspired young racers to get out from ages 3 to 6, and they get in their Power Wheels, and they've got a little track there we set up for them, and they burn around that, so it gets them going, and it's a great thing for the parents to take and see, and anybody to come and watch. And then we move from there, we move into our junior stock, which is ages 7 to 12. So it gets that where you've got that next level of racing where they take their machines and they kind of run on just stock lawnmowers. They're not modified yet. So we do that for them for the junior stock class. And then we go into open stock, which is for anybody ages 13 and up. So that's just, you take your stock lawnmower, get rid of your blades, and you can take and drive that around the track that we have built for the stock class. And then once we get through that one, then we get into the real fun stuff, which is the modified mowers. And what they are is you get a couple different classes, but they've done pulley swaps on them. And those mowers where they do the swaps and a little bit of engine stuff, they're capable of speeds up to 80 kilometers an hour. And then we get into our Outlaw series, which is the guys that have no limits, no governors, anything short of a car engine to put into it. And you get some pretty cool stuff there, and they're capable of 100 plus kilometers an hour. So it's really neat to take and watch. Any different price point you can get into. You can take your regular lawnmower, you can a $50 lawnmower, if you can get it running, you can drive it around that track if it's safe to do so. And you can get right up into spending thousands of dollars on engine mods and anything from there. So it's really accessible to anybody that has an interest in trying the racing out.
And then Heine, can you tell me a little bit about the snowmobile grass drags, as that's certainly a new event to me, and what exactly happens at this event?
The snowmobile grass drags in Vermilion actually used to take and be quite a thing about 25 years ago. And Vermilion's quite a unique place. We're central to a lot of the different other communities. And what the guys did 25 years ago, they actually built an irrigated snowmobile grass drag track. So the track length is between 400 and 450 feet long. And the guys got it so that you're pulling onto a putting green and you're going to be tearing the heck out of it with your snowmobile. So a lot of excitement's been rolling on that one around the community and the surrounding areas. That snowmobile grass drags are coming back to Vermilion, and it's being hosted in combination with the Ag Society and the Lawnmower Racing Committee, with the Vermilion Ridge Riders Snowmobile Club. So they're the ones that are going to be heading it up, but we're teaming up for a weekend of motorsports action there. So really looking forward to seeing that coming to town again, and excited to take and see the turnout that we take and get for both events.
And finally, Heine, if people are interested in learning more, where can they go to do that, as well as where can they go to enter if they're interested in being part of either lawnmower racing or the snowmobile grass drags?
The races are taking place on September 14th, and they're going to be held at the Vermilion Ag Grounds. And for getting there, for watching, we've got a couple different options. People can take and come in. There's free camping for the weekend. So for anybody that wants to take and race, you pull your camper in and you can take and park it on the grounds there, and we'll be set up with concessions and beer gardens and whatnot. The cost coming in, we're looking at just to take and do $5 coming through the gate there, just to take and help support the event, and we can take and get that going back in just to cover insurances and things for setup. And anybody that wants to take and be part of the event, so for racing, you can take and go on to either look us up on Facebook under the Vermilion River Lawnmower Racing, and you can take and do that on Facebook, or you can take and go to the Vermilion Ag Society website at vermilionag.ca, and then you can take and look us up there as well.
Thank you so much for all the information today, Heine, and I definitely am looking forward to this great event coming up this September.
Well, we look forward to seeing you there.
It's time now for Retrospect. Here's Ravi Jayaseelan.
This week in Retrospect, let's travel back to 1992, where a foreign exchange program facilitates cultural exchange with the Japanese.
The whole idea of the exchange was education. For the Japanese students, it was learning English and the Canadian culture. For the host families, it was about their guests' homeland. And both sides were impressed with what they found out. 20 Japanese students with 2 chaperones came over in an exchange arranged by the Japanese organization Labo and the District 35 4-H Club. The students were in the area for 4 weeks and got a taste of prairie life. They got to go horseback riding, helped out on the farm, some went on a wagon train. As well, the whole crew took a trip to Edmonton. Murray and Doreen Coolidge were the 4-H coordinators for the trip. Doreen Coolidge says that a reciprocal trip over to Japan is being planned.
So we'll get organized in the fall and put it open to anybody that wants to go, and then give them the opportunity to raise some money and maybe learn a little bit of Japanese.
The Japanese students learn English starting in junior high. Some involved in the exchange had only taken 1 year before coming here. Amiko Ono studied it in university and now is a staff coordinator with Labo International Exchange. This was her first time in Canada, and she says she enjoyed it a lot and hopes the 4-H families can eventually come overseas.
So I'm really hoping this will be a great opportunity for Japanese kids and also for the Canadian youth to have a good relationship. And I hope someday in the near future for the Canadian youth to come and have a homestay with us.
Shino Haruto stayed on the Coolidge's farm, and when she goes home, she'll have nice things to say about Canada. What are you going to tell all your friends back home about Canada?
Kind people, Canada's beautiful places.
This was the first exchange in 16 years with Japan and Saskatchewan, and organizers say they hope the future will hold more. As for this exchange, the students have headed to Saskatoon, where they will catch a plane and head home to Tokyo. Jeannie Haining, NewsHour.
Moving forward to 1997, we take a look at a controversy that troubles the people of Lloydminster.
City Council is faced with one of the most heated controversial issues with local residents in a long time. Harry and Alva Creech have operated a funeral home along Highway 16 in the border city for over 4 years and are currently building one in Vermilion as well. After years of business, they say their clientele would be better served in a quieter location without a liquor store and a pool hall next door. They chose this site at 51st Street and 55th Avenue because there was already a church there, but they also want to add a crematorium.
There is not one in Lloydminster right now, so what we're hoping to do is provide an economical way of doing it. There's no transportation cost to Edmonton or Saskatoon, which is the closest crematoriums, and that can add hundreds of dollars to funeral costs.
More and more people are choosing cremation. The Creeches say 40 to 50% of their customers are exploring that option. Many local residents say they're not against the idea of a crematorium in Lloydminster, but they just don't want it here in their neighborhood.
Create a severe parking problem. We believe that property values could go down if a funeral home was in that area.
There are also concerns that it would hurt Martin Brown School located nearby.
Working on the enrollment problem we're faced with so that we can get a grade 5 and 6 in that school. And a crematorium, no matter how clean they say it is, it's still going to have that phobia. It's going to be another factor that deters people from moving into that area.
Maybe similar to many people in our area, I tend to have a little bit of what they call phobia about the crematorium. If I was living right next door to it and I would have any indication of what was coming out of that building, that would bother me.
But the Creeches say the unit is computerized and does not allow anything but heat emissions to escape.
There's no noise, no smoke, and no odor. In our minds, crematoriums would have black billowing smoke, and that's not today, and we have to educate people to understand that. In Edmonton, Park Memorial Funeral Service is a block away from the Royal Alexander Hospital. It also has a Wendy's right next door to it, as well as other restaurants. The hospital would not want something that was going to be a health hazard near it, but there's been no complaints.
Lloydminster City Council has tabled the motion for 30 days.
Yes, number one, I want to find out if there are any people out there for it.
It was well put by one of the individuals that was speaking to the crematorium, and he said, you have to ask yourself the question, would you want it next door to you?
But one local merchant points out that the new facility would probably spruce up the area. The Creeches say they will look for another location if residents don't want them there. People in this neighborhood say they already have to deal with the canola plant and the Husky refinery and don't want a chance having to smell anything else when they step outside. Julie Matthews, NewsHour.
And in 2002, we take a look at a deal to develop an unused piece of property.
For a number of years, this piece of property has been unused and undeveloped. And for approximately the last 13 years, taxes have been unpaid and penalties have been accruing. Now the tax owing is larger than the assumed market value of the land. So this past Monday, City Council approved a proposed agreement with Hardy Developments Limited.
We've come to an agreement with the present property owners and the public school division who have an interest in the taxes in that property, and Hardy Developments and the city. and how we might develop that property and recover some of the costs that have been invested in that land and will be invested in the land to turn it into a viable project.
The 5-year agreement will be a phase project of several small commercial buildings that would clear the taxes owing.
The property will go into Hardy Development's name, then it'll be transferred to the city, and it'll be a phased project and subdivided. And as each subdivided portion of the land is developed, the title will go back to Hardy Developments.
At the end of the 5 years, the city hopes not only to improve the appearance of the area, but also to recover some of its costs that have been accrued against the property.
I think it's just a positive to clean that area up, and it will give the city some opportunity to get some of the costs back for the services that were previously invested in, like frontage taxes for paving and those kinds of things.
Many nearby businesses were unable or unwilling to speak on camera, but they did tell NewsHour they are happy to see something is being done with the property. As for business owners like Rod Sellers, he agrees with the city that it will be an enhancement to the whole area.
I think it's great. I'm glad to see that I believe it's Hardy Developments have taken that property, and they're movers and shakers. And I know Mark's a hard worker and seems to be able to see opportunity where other people only see old grass and weeds. So I'm glad he's doing it, and I'm sure it'll be an enhancement to the whole south end of town.
Nicole Strachlet, NewsHour.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consort.
Let's take a look at all of your pets of the day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Let's take a look at your upcoming 3-day forecast here in Lloydminster. Tomorrow we'll have a morning shower, 40% chance, and then it's going to be a breezy day. We got a high of 28 and a low of 10. Wednesday we actually have a 55% chance of a shower in the morning, breezy as well, so keeping it consistent, high of 25 and a low of 12. And Thursday it'll be a nice day with a high of 22. And that's all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks for watching.